Greetings, true believers. It's your old pal Spider-Man, and welcome back to my spider web or my shaved in. Today, I've got a really cool new razor, which is on loan to me by Deep Sea from the Shaving Cadre. And this is the Gibbs, I believe it's number 17 adjustable razor. I have gone this long in my wet shaving career, almost 10 years, never having heard of the Gibbs razor. A few people were talking about it, and I'm like, they were just referencing the Gibbs, and I'm like, what's the Gibbs? Like, that didn't even register in my brain as something that I've ever heard before. And they gave me a couple of vague answers, just that it was a vintage razor, and it still didn't trigger anything. Like, I don't recall ever seeing it. And then Deep Sea brought it up again. I'm like, hey, can you explain to me what this Gibbs thing is? So he kind of told me a little bit more about it, and then offered to send it to me so I could check it out. So this is pretty cool. I really like the size of this thing. I like shorter handles. I grip razors up near the neck anyways. So for me, a long-handled razor is kind of wasteful. You can see, compared to my Yuma, which has been my go-to, it's about the same length. Compared to a Fat Boy adjustable, it's a little bit shorter. But something like a Slim or something, it's going to be quite a bit shorter than that. So kind of cool for an adjustable razor to be this small. Now this does come apart kind of interestingly. He didn't really tell me much about this. I watched a couple of videos yesterday so I could at least learn how to modify the blade, because it won't take a standard DE blade as is. You do have to modify it because they were trying to be a little bit proprietary with this. But just like a three-piece or like a two-piece, this pops out and then the top comes off. Now, it's got these little tabs. They're sticking up right there. That is what prevents you from putting a blade in, because a blade is going to hit that and won't be able to go on all the way. So you do have to modify the blade. Now, I watched a few videos yesterday that some of them actually concerned me with how they were modifying these blades. One guy was taking the blade and just putting it, well, actually he was putting it in here, assembling it, cinching it down until it was almost tight. Now these tabs were pressing into the blade, and then he just smacked this down on the counter to have these tabs forcefully push out a piece of the blade. I'm like, well, A, this isn't my razor, so I'm not going to do that. But B, it just didn't seem good in the long run for the health of your razor. Some people were suggesting taking the blade, and let me just grab a new one here. So they were suggesting taking this blade and taking scissors, and basically this part here that is sticking out, this end piece here, cutting that in half basically, which then gives room for it to sit inside of those two posts. They said the downfall to that is that you lose being able to grab the blade from the side, because if you make a notch or something, then a little bit of the blade is still able to be gripped, and you can kind of position it, because without those tabs, and unless you have a tab cut perfectly in this blade, it's not going to center itself. So you either have to like use your fingernail and push the blade from the side, which I don't really like, but I'll do it if I need to. Or if those tabs are kind of sticking out, and they don't really stick out, but if they're sticking out enough that you can grab, you can kind of shimmy it into place before you cinch it down. Some people suggested taking scissors and just like cutting a V in it. Somebody went out and bought a punch that was kind of like a grippier punch, like a paper punch, but like meant for more industrial use, with a much smaller size, and it seemed to be about perfect for the use, but I don't have one of those punches, so I decided to try my hand with a regular paper punch. And As you can see, I didn't do so bad. Actually did have to go through 3 blades to get this one, because the first 2 I punched too deep, and I actually went all the way through and nicked out that little piece. So this, I basically turned it into a single edge because I ripped right through it. So it took 3 tries to get this blade, but we're going to try to assemble it. Now this is adjustable, but what I found is it won't adjust very much if it's all the way cinched down. So you do have to like take this out, and once it's there, you can kind of turn this. So it does have a little red dot on the dial. This N, I don't know, well, this is a French razor, so I don't know what the N is alluding to, but from everything that I read, the N is the starting position, and then it does go down from 2 to 1. So N is basically the 3 position, but from what I've read, that's kind of like the starting position, and then if you need something milder, go down to 2 and 1, or it does go up to 6. Now this does come apart like that. This is a plastic piece, and I know if you go onto like Etsy and stuff, people are making new versions of these, either with metal or new versions with plastic, because sometimes these will get broken. And I don't know if this one is original or not. This one has some lines on it, which makes me think it might be a 3D printed version, but maybe that's just the way it was made originally. I don't know if this is original or not. But we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna leave it in the neutral position, the N, which is what I kind of think the N means. But again, this is a French razor, so I have no idea what that was trying to say. But we're gonna assemble this now. It is assembled, but the blade is kind of a little wonky, so I can kind of grab the ends. They don't, like I said, they don't really stick out, but you can grab just enough of it to kind of right that blade. And try to get it centered before I cinch it down. I think that's about... It looks pretty good. I hope that's good. So again, Gibbs razor in the N position, in the normal, maybe normal, I don't know, normal, neutral. Number 3 position regardless. It doesn't have a 3 on it, but it is the number 3 position. So now we're going to start lathering up. I have, for this shave, the CBL Tonsorial Sur Fougere. Now a lot of us are doing a 30-17 on this soap, which means... starting off with a puck. We all started on the 1st of the month. And let me get some more coffee here in my monkey mug. We started on the 1st of the month, and we're going to use our CBL Tonsorial pucks until they're gone. I started with a beta puck, so mine was considerably smaller. I weighed the puck before I put it in the tub. So bad on me, I didn't actually weigh it in the tub before I started, so I don't know how much I've used to date. I just figured when I started that I would weigh the puck, and then when I was all done, then I would just divide that weight by the number of days that I used it and know how much that I used. But it'd be kind of nice to weigh this right now and see how much I've used over the course of 3 days. This is now the 4th day. But I'm going to go ahead and weigh this in the tub right now. Dave in Kentucky did this. He weighed it before his shave, he weighed it after his shave, and there was no difference at all. So I'm just curious if I would think you should use somewhere in the vicinity of like 2 to 3 grams per shave, but maybe not. But I'm going to see if I notice any difference in the pre to post shave weight. But if for no other reason, day 4, this is going to give me a baseline of how much it weighs in the tub. So I've got my kitchen scale here. I'm going to turn it on. It's going to take a couple seconds to tear out. I'm going to change the unit to grams, and we are at 81 grams. So starting weight 81. I'm going to grab, let's see, we'll grab my TSC brush. And I did not bloom this. Usually I do bloom it for a little bit as I'm getting ready. Doesn't need to be bloomed, but usually I do just to help things along. I do load pretty heavy, especially since I'm doing a 3017, because I don't like doing 3017s. I load pretty heavy, so I expect there to be a noticeable difference in the amount of soap that I've used. Again, I don't like doing 3017s because I don't like using the same product over and over and over. I like changing it up. I'll use the same razor for weeks at a time, but soaps and aftershaves, I gotta use something different. And also, I always rinse out the tub after I'm done, so any of this leftover lather that's in there that might be holding water, I'm gonna rinse that out. Okay. Scoop out all of this lather. So that should be enough. Rinse my hand off. Let's get this soap off the handle so it's not so slippery. I woke up to a mess today. So, yeah, yesterday I had intended on staying up a little bit later, but I was tired. So I had an energy drink. I put it in the freezer to chill it because it wasn't in the fridge. And I guess I just forgot to set a timer. Usually I would set a timer if I put something in the freezer. And forgot about it. And like I said, I was tired and fell asleep. And woke up this morning. Guess what happened? It froze. Can exploded. Frozen energy drink everywhere. So, guess what I get to do today? Clean out the freezer. That's alright. Not what I had intended on doing, but it probably needed to be done anyways. So, you know, before I get started on that, I just thought I'd take a relaxing 10-20 minutes or so and get a shave in and talk to you guys about it. Try out my new Gibbs. Not my new Gibbs, it's on loan, but try out the new Gibbs, new to me. So, here we go. Now, all I've heard about this is how smooth it is on every setting. Right now, I can tell you I've got a lot of blade feel. On this position, it's feeling pretty aggressive to me. I like razors I can go on autopilot, and I don't know, this one feels a bit rough. All right, so I don't know if you can see where the blade is. This camera doesn't want to focus on anything up front. But I'm gonna try to adjust this down. So I'm just gonna put this at a 1 and see what that does. So I gotta straighten this blade back out. So I know this discussion came up about the Gibbs because there is at least one company, I believe, I didn't pay too much attention, but I think there's one company out there that is making a copy of the Gibbs. But from what I understand, they're a bit more expensive, but then there's another company that is in the process of making a clone that is in the more reasonable price range and is supposed to be more, I guess the other one is similar but not exactly, and this one is supposed to be more of an exact copy, except that it does take normal DE blades, so they fixed that part. So that would be interesting, but let me see. So this is definitely much smoother. I still got some blade feel, but I feel like I can be more on autopilot with this one and just kind of shave and not have to worry about the angle. So I don't know, right now, setting 1 feels pretty good. Setting 3, not so much. A couple people that commented, including Deep Sea, were basically just saying how smooth it was on any setting, but yikes. I'll try it on different settings later, and most likely off camera, but I'll try it on the 6, but the way it felt on the 3, I don't think that I would really ever want to go any more aggressive than that. I do like the weight, the size, the feel of the razor. Get a little bit more water in this. It's very comfortable to me. I think mainly because of the length is the same length as what I've been using. So it's like I usually put my pinky on the bottom of the razor. I don't know why, but that's just the way I grip it. And I can hold this the same way I've been holding my Yuma, or the way I would hold something like a Tech or a Super Speed that would have that same handle length. On setting 1, I really do like this. Setting 3, for me at least, it just felt like I had to pay really close attention to my angle and just kind of needed more focus than I like to give on a shave. I like to just shave and not have to think about it or worry about it. So we're gonna try some touch up here. I am feeling like this is too mild. Right now it's not shaving me as close as I want it to. I've got It's not really grabbing much on this touch-up pass like my normal razor would. It feels a bit too mild to get anything more than what I've already got. Because my face isn't feeling like it normally does after the shave. So maybe bump this up to 2 for my next shave and see what that gets me. But I really do just enjoy the weight, the feel of this razor. So too aggressive for me at 3, too mild at 1, even though it feels pretty good. So tomorrow, we're gonna change it to a 2. I'm gonna go ahead and adjust that now. All right, set it 2. I'm gonna go ahead and just see, I'm gonna try a quick touch-up pass. Not a full pass, just see. Just see what the 2 feels like, since I won't be on camera tomorrow. That feels better. It's getting what I wanted it to get on the touch-up pass. So that feels a lot better. But again, I haven't said this before, but this is my first shave with it. I'm still getting used to it. So I think tomorrow I'll probably shave with it on a 2, and then bump it back up to a 3 for the next shave, and see how far I can take it, see where I can stretch it, see if maybe I get more comfortable with it, more used to it, and maybe some of the higher settings will work out for me. Right now, it feels like 2 is where it's at. That actually was a pretty decent touch up. Got pretty much what I needed to. It could be a little bit closer, so maybe a 3, but it got what I needed to, and even though I went back for another pass, really didn't have any irritation. So it's mild enough. And we are gonna check out my soap and see where we're at. Now I did rinse this out, so I do have some water in there. So this was had been drying out overnight, and now there's some water in it. So I know Dave commented that his tub weight was the same before and after. So if he was in that same boat where the puck was dried out, but then afterwards, you know, you rinse it out, you got some water sitting on. Water can be pretty heavy compared to the soap that's coming off. So if you replaced the soap with water, you could end up losing nothing. And if you got any little crevices around the side and water gets in there, you're just adding to it. So he said that his soap was growing. It's possible. But yeah, it definitely could be growing a little bit if it's absorbing that water. But we are going to weigh this, again, tear out and change it to grams. And I'm at 80 grams. So I lost 1 gram of soap, at least, possibly a little bit more if you account for the water. But at least started with 81 grams for shave number 4, so I've got 1 use on it, and that will give me a baseline that I can now, maybe in a week or so, weigh the tub and see where we're at and divide it out by that, and give me a better estimation of how much soap I'm using over the course of this 3017, rather than just having to wait until the very end to figure it out. So that's the shave. Finish up real quick, some witch hazel. Some regular old drugstore witch hazel. I know a lot of people are all about the Thayers. I just like regular cheap witch hazel. I don't like spending $10 on a bottle of witch hazel. because to me they all work the same. Some of them just have a little bit more scent to them. But I take my regular old witch hazel and I just put in a few drops of lime aftershave or bay rum aftershave, in this case a little bit of both. So for just a few cents more, I get a lime bay rum scented aftershave. Imagine that. So, you know, if you want to scent your aftershaves, you don't have to spend a ton of money on Thayer's. Just spend $1.50 on a bottle of drugstore witch hazel from Walmart or wherever, and just add some essential oil to it, or add a little bit of aftershave if you want to scent it. Personally, I think spending $10 on a bottle of witch hazel is crazy, especially since you're going to follow it up anyways, usually with some aftershave. So why waste money on something that has a scent that's going to last just a few seconds and you're just going to cover it up anyways? But if you want it scented, just scent it yourself. Anyways, we're going to go with some Petrolon Classic. Don't know why, just felt like grabbing it today. It's the one variation that I have since I'm using the same soap, and change up my aftershave every day. Probably over the course of this, we'll start pulling out some things that I don't use all the time. This Petrolon Classic is one of my favorites. I did buy a few bottles of this in reserve when I found it on sale, probably a Black Friday sale a year or two ago. But just, I do really like this. It's a very clean, fresh, sort of woodsy kind of scent, just outdoorsy. If you like that kind of thing, check it out. That's my shave. We'll see you guys later on the Shaving Cadre, on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you see me, wherever you watch me. Enjoy your shaves. Later.